football team. Buses run every 10 minutes. Avoid the traffic. Don't get stuck in the delay. Get Ipswich buses today. A single from only £1.20, a return from only £2. Find out more information at www.ipswichbuses.co.uk. Ipswich Buses, proud to partner with Talking Town. Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends. It is 1:30 on the dot, now just gone 1:31 on the 6th of March, and it's a Sunday after a town victory. Weekends always just hit that little bit more special after 3 points. The sun is shining, the coffee tastes sweeter, the birds sound chirpier. Life is good. Obviously, we're only a few days away from the next town fixture. Back to 5 points in the playoff race. I'm sure to get the table up as we go through this afternoon. How are you feeling? Is the playoff race back on? And on the post-game show yesterday, the Fans React post-game show, very much the feeling. And I always say this on the post-game shows. When you lose, you're the worst team in the world. And when you win, you're almost the 81 Blues. And yesterday, it was very much playoffs are back on. They're back in our sights. We're going to go get it. We're going to win 6 or 7 of the last 10. How are you feeling now? You've slept on it. Are you back to positivity? Are you saying one step at a time? How are we? Lewis Robinson, good afternoon, people. The sun is shining. The away day beers is flowing. ITFC won. NCFC didn't. There's foot on the TV and TT on the iPad with another episode of Peaky Blinders tonight. Lewis is clearly winning. Lee Brown is here. The GOAT is here. Safety Guy 20. Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The saga continues. Anthony Steele, who had a picture next to the surprise Chinese in Fleetwood. Thank you for that wonderful picture, Ant. Did you try any of the surprise Chinese? Let us know if you had something. Lewis Robinson again. 7 wins from 10 is definitely achievable. 2 home wins this week, and it's all on. Obviously, Lincoln on the Tuesday night. Now, we do a prediction league. That's terrible English. We'll try that again. We do have a prediction league that we run every week, free to enter. And this is the league table after game week 27. We have a new top 5 entrant. Emerson Fairweather has moved himself into the places for the awards. Ben Moore still the closest to the rivals. Cruncher got 3 points, moved himself up to 24. A number of you did. This week, Norwich weren't as giving to you guys and girls with the points as they were to Brentford with the goals. But a great week. Cheatham McCheatson didn't correctly predict anything right, so he stays firmly on 12. Here is page number 2. It is very tight. So if you're sitting there thinking, I've not yet played in 27 weeks or you've not played in a while, get involved again, because as Cheatham McCheatson proves, if you put a couple of wins together in the same week or even back-to-back weeks, you go from bottom of the table to sitting just outside the prize pushes. So, yeah, get involved. Callie was there. I've got a video of Callie having dinner with Toto and Ciara. I'm just going to throw that out there. Callie is a connected man. Robert Wilson, outside chances of playoffs. Lewis, Callie eating with the enemy. Oh, I wasn't the only person to get that video then. I thought I was special. Oh, even Rich got it, he's telling me, in the VIP area. Mark Wickenden, we need to be consistent. ITFC are far from that, unfortunately, too late for the season. Now, it is the 6th of March, so it is a new month. A huge thank you to all of our Talking Town Fifth Stand and YouTube members. Even Cheatham McCheatson's got himself on the old boards this month. A huge thank you to our new members. Without you, none of our shows could work, could even be put on. The overheads, particularly with everything costing so much, would be too huge. So a huge thank you to all of you that are part of it. Where is Matt? He's on there somewhere. There he is. Matt Phillips, underneath Mark Haynes and above Matt Stannard. What beautiful company you're in there, Matt. So if you do want to support us, please do so through Ko-Fi, become a YouTube member, and we'll get yourself on that board. Talking of which, we have a show tonight, and I'm going to bring in the expert of that show to give us the lowdown. It is, of course, our resident tough talker, hardtacular, Richard Moss. Mr. Moss, how are you?
I'm good. Happy.
Man. Yes, I know. You went to the seaside. You built a sandcastle. You had it wasn't a fish cake. What did you have in the end? Sausage and mash.
Sausage and mash from the Three Lights. Decent. Yeah, okay. Onion gravy.
And you saw 2 goals.
Yeah, 2 goals. Amazing.
Before we get into the amazing weekend of Ipswich Town, we are live again tonight, 9 p.m. Another extra show makes that $4.99 work even harder. What's happening tonight at 9 p.m. on our platform?
It's the first talking cricket show since the Ashes debacle. Martin said he didn't want to do any more if we don't win. So England are in the West Indies starting Tuesday, so we'll be reviewing that. Obviously, looking back at Shane Warne's career, Rod Marsh, sort of sad, obviously, them 2 passed away. Jam-packed show. So if you're not up to anything at 9 tonight, join in. Myself, Ian, Grumpy Neil, we've got Terry and Owen from All the Overs Essex podcast.
Ooh,
so it should be a good show. Hopefully we won't keep Martin up too long so he can go to bed.
Well, the brief, ladies and gentlemen, is a half an hour show. I've been sent an agenda of 8 items.
At least an hour.
I don't think I'm going to bed. I didn't sleep well at all last night, so don't make it too long. Although, you know, some say cricket does send you to sleep, so we'll see.
I literally had 4 hours sleep. That's all I had.
And
off we go again.
Off we go again. Absolutely. It was on my Insta, says Callie, and and I don't use Insta now. I'm on it, but I'm not on it. Did I get dinner ready for Neil in time? I did. How was your evening last night? What time did you get back from sunny Fleetwood?
I stayed at my mum and dad's last night because I had to drop the boys home and then I had to be up for work for 3:30. So just after 11. So literally said hello to my dad who was watching Match of the Day. Went to bed, woke up, 3:30, my alarm. Don't worry. Safety guy, Peaky Blinders is on tonight, but you can watch the cricket show back. It is available at any time to watch. And hopefully listen on Spotify if Martin pulls his finger out and gets it on.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I will. I certainly will do. I have to probably dig in deep to the bandwidth because you're not going to get 6.5 an hour, are you? I know that already. When the agenda came through, my first thought was, well, that's at least 2.5 hours knowing this lot. At least.
We'll try and keep it to just over an hour.
Can we keep it to? Can we agree that we'll keep it to shorter than a cricket match?
What are we doing? Test match?
5-day test.
Yeah, it probably won't be 5 days. 2020, 3 hours. Yeah, just under 3 hours. We'll be all right.
We could get the big. We could hire out the Big Brother voiceover. Day 6 at Talking Cricket.
Yeah, 6.
Rich is still talking about Anderson and Broad.
And Martin fell asleep on the sofa.
Absolutely right. We must complete the trio as always. We have the man that brings you the news today from yesterday. No, tomorrow. Oh, no, hang on. He got nothing this week, has he? He said he got nothing to bring.
No news. It's good news.
No news is good news. Angry man, not angry this week.
What's with the Cheater McCheaterson vibes?
Once a cheater, always a cheat. That's what I hear.
Don't try and crack jokes to Martin. He's very serious.
I am. It's a bloody makes it more hard work than it needs to be. But as I've just said, you are traditionally our angry man yells at cloud.
Yeah.
But this week you tell me you're not angry.
No, I'm fairly chilled out. Today. Nice little 3 points yesterday. I was a bit annoyed at half time yesterday. Text Rich. I was almost dropping off. I was a bit bored. It was reminded me of that Rochdale game. Remember the 0-0, the Rochdale game?
Oh, well, the Ollie Rathbone game.
Yeah. But the second half was good. But 3 points, fantastic.
Rob Holmes, nice to see the co-host on Quest last night getting excited about Town and McKenna's influence. That, as a side note, we've not really talked about it much, but that's leaving Quest. How do we feel on that? The EFL highlights leaving Quest back to ITV.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that quiz show is good, isn't it? I know Rich watches it a lot.
Big fan. I like Colin Murray. I like the guests he has on. He has obviously George Ellick, doesn't he? And not the top 20. But it's a shame. I think it's a real shame because I think they've got a real good little niche spot they've got there. And it'd be interesting who ITV have presenting it.
Unless they go with the same. Unless they go with the same. I don't know who produces that show. Unless they can just take that format of the show and stick it on ITV. It's got
to be. Is the name Manish? It's got to be him, isn't it? Like back in the early 2000s. You know, yeah.
Oh, from BBC.
Yeah, that's great host.
Yeah,
I'm not,
it's
I'm not.
yeah. Do you remember when like ITV got the Premier League highlights that second season? It was
Yeah,
like
shocking.
back in the day, it was crap, wasn't it? So I hope they don't do that to the Quest thing, because I think they've given like an opportunity to like more like blog and online personalities to be part of that show rather than just your usual football pundits. So I think they've gone down a good route with it. So we'll see.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't really watch it. I'm going to be honest. Outside of Ipswich Town, my interest in football is not that great to
think
watch.
it's gonna
Rochdale
be-
beat Torquay.
It's going to be on twice in one evening. So I think it's first on ITV4 at like 7 o'clock or something, and then it'll be a late one.
Message
on
there,
ITV.
Martin, from Rob Walker. Let the music play. An Oldham fan. Look in the chat.
You are always welcome on these shores, my friend. We
you
make
go.
friends with all sorts.
Lee Bayliss was there yesterday. They played Carlisle, Matt, and a 94th minute winner.
No.
Carlisle scored down at the bottom.
Killer.
But
Killer that.
Apparently, we're absolute quality. Oh,
well,
No, Martin, speechless. Yeah, shout
I've
out
never
Oldham.
been called quality before. I've been called many things, but never quality. That's a nice one. Look at that. For your dart show, Gov, 19-year-old kid stuff James Wade in the UK. Oh, we'll get into that one. We'll look at that one. Thank you, safety guy. We've got Mike D. My mate produced the Minis BBC show. He said Steve Clare was caught nicking big bog roll from the storeroom. Well, as views are the audience's own and not of that of the network. I've never had to say that one before.
Big bog roll.
Big roll.
Big roll. I thought he meant bog, but he might have meant big roll. Either way. Right, yesterday
You've got to make sure it's 4-ply. That's my advice to everybody.
What, 4-ply big roll?
Bog
Or
roll.
loo roll?
The wife accidentally bought 2-ply the other week.
Oh dear. Did your finger go through it, Matt?
Why would you even make
Worse,
such a
is
thing?
it? Nothing worse when your finger goes through it. It's about a bit
I
thin.
would refuse to use it. It's three minimum.
So don't.
Them toilets, when you go shopping and you go to the toilets and then have the tracing paper. Do you remember that?
You've got to go with the bog roll and the wet wipes. You've got to go for the ultimate clean.
Quilted. Stephen Parry likes.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
That's Stephen Parry. Did he have someone round checking his electrics? Didn't he? Is the alarm still beeping? He told us
find
the
out.
other day when someone come round.
I'm sure if we put the link in the chat, I'm sure Stephen will come on and tell us how he was right to be positive, and it's all looking rather rosy because this is the league table this afternoon, my friends. We are currently still in, drum roll please, ninth, for fuck's sake, ninth again. Still, I think did we start in ninth? Like 0 games played. I don't think we've ever left there. I think it's our home all season. But ninth, 56. Wednesday, game less than us, 61. Wickham, same game as us, 61. Oxford, game more than us, 65. So that's the league table. Yeah. Back in with a shout. Unbeaten in 5. 2 wins out of 3. Lincoln on the Tuesday. Portsmouth is a huge game coming up. But let's focus on Fleetwood at the moment.
If you're looking at that table, though, if you look at Plymouth, got 2 games in hand, could go to 65. And then Sheffield Wednesday could be on 64. So it's
Wickham, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but they'll drop out. If Sheffield Wednesday and Plymouth win their games in hand, they'll drop to 7th line.
Absolutely, yeah.
We've got everyone around us, haven't we?
You're looking at 64 points, and that's 8 points.
But then you think about Portsmouth, 2 games on hand on us. If they manage to get anything from Portman Road next Saturday, they're right in the shout, personally. But yesterday, obviously, we were playing Fleetwood. I got a message from Neil at halftime saying still can't score. But in the end, we did come through. We finished 2-0 winners, and we dominated the team.
Neil Moles?
Yes, Mr.
He was actually watching a Town game?
No, he was actually shopping, disgracefully. I know. He didn't pop by Dixon's, did he? Have it on the scores at half time?
On his phone. And he was telling me by half time, we were like 300 passes. I think Fleetwood got to 300 for the whole game in the end. So domination again, but this time with goals. I've got some players to pick out at some point, but Matt, how did you see it in the comfy Phillips Towers before the cold terraces take charge?
Well, I mean, they've had issues with that pitch, and everyone did say it was going to be, and Rich said it on Friday, didn't he? It's going to be a bit of a potato patch. And it was, I mean, just awful, wasn't it? I mean, I like the little stand opposite where they've done up their little Highbury Avenue ground, but it's non-league, isn't it? It is non-league. And, this is where we get caught in. Again, as we've gone down and teams have come up, we've been caught in the middle, and you've got really basic away end. I'd imagine Richie was in there. I don't know, it just feels like it's a proper League One game, that. But Ipswich did well. We saw at Morecambe that we kept knocking on the door and had to rely on a very late equaliser. And yesterday I felt like we were pretty contained actually in the second half. I felt it was like a very comfortable performance second half. Well, Walton had to make a couple of saves, maybe one in the first, one in the second. But it felt like we was always in like a third gear. That's how it felt to me watching at home anyway.
How was it in the terraces?
No, I think that's a pretty good assessment there, Matt. I think we were always comfortable in that game. There was never a point when I thought they're going to cut us open.
No,
they're going to score. I know they had a chance when it was 0-0. Walton done a good save down to his left, which is it shows, don't you have a goalkeeper not having a lot to do, but he's kept his concentration there.
Yeah,
and he's done his job. They really just threatened, didn't they, from the long throws that they had. The pitch was. Look, the pitch doesn't help them neither, because they have to play on it every other week. So, but like I did say, what did I put in the WhatsApp group? The pitch is a great leveler. But we still try to play football, and we it was a pitch where you had to take an extra touch, wouldn't you, when you on a normal
He said
pitch.
that, McKenna, didn't he? Yeah, you have to take that extra touch.
But we got the job done. When you're there at 60, 65 minutes, you're probably thinking, here we go again. This is Cheltenham, this is Morecambe. But like I said on the full-time show, you'd see you yesterday, Martin, that was a game that you couldn't be at full-time. What if, again? It just had to be 3 points. And as soon as we scored that first goal, it was pretty much game over, wasn't it? And that was a good goal. If you look at that, there is times, I think, when we've said on here, we don't get enough players in the box. If you look at that, if you freeze that when Musty scores that goal, Martin, we've got 4 players in the box there.
Yeah.
So, and obviously McKenna said off the training ground, that's a move that they've been working on, and it's bore fruit, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's always nice when moves off the training ground come onto the pitch. As an ex-manager myself, I could speak with complete confidence on that one. You've mentioned Morsey. Let's sort of speak about captain fantastic. Callie says pitch got worse. Speaking with Sam yesterday, dropped the microphone with the name drop there, Callie, and he said when he played there years back, pitch was a lot better. Personally, think they should have moved the game to the park by the stadium. However, the pitch didn't affect the goal. This time last week, we were talking about how we needed more goals from other areas, one of which, of course, being Sam Morsey, if he's going to play that attacking midfielder role. And yesterday he got it, Rich. How did you see the captain's performance from Highbury?
Man of the match again for me. Just caps it off. He was a little bit deeper, wasn't he? Because obviously when the teams come out and we're all seeing Selena in there, Chaplin in there, Piggott in there, Jackson, you're probably thinking, what formation are we going to play? And obviously Selena played in the middle there. McKenna said that he's played there for Kosovo. He's played there for Swansea. So more than capable of doing it. But Morsey was a little bit deeper, wasn't he? And like I said to you, Martin, the game changed there. We'll probably talk about Joe Piggott. I thought he had a decent game, but it was the right substitution at the right time. And Matt's main man, Backinson, come on. And I thought he had a really good 25 minutes, was he on? 30 minutes?
Big T, I'm calling him.
But he sat there, didn't he? And it gave Sam the freedom to get further up the pitch. It gave Selena freedom to get further up the pitch. And you'd say that them two were instrumental in the goal because it was quick thinking by Chaplin, wasn't it? Got the ball down. Selena's got forward, played a lovely ball into Burns. And we don't want to be too critical of Wes sometimes in here, but sometimes his crossing lately has been a bit sort of, driven in. But he's picked him out, hasn't he? Lovely. And he's not, it's a tidy finish as well. That's a really good finish from Sam Morsey.
Could have blasted it.
He just cushioned it in there, and it was nice that they celebrated right in front of the Fleetwood fans, giving it to them.
Absolutely, yeah.
There was some geezer ran down the front, big fella. Did you see him on the video back? He's going, shit house.
And then Thompson celebrates in front of him, doesn't it? I think.
But
you say about Wes Burns, absolutely spot on. Some of his crossing recently has been like he's found Guion Edwards' boots in the dressing room. But on the formation, Matt, I really liked it pre-game. And I felt it was because McKenna believed his team would have majority of the ball and wouldn't necessarily need a number 8 to worry about defensive duties. Do you feel that was the case?
Well, you did kind of allude to something similar to that on Friday's show, didn't you, in terms of defensive options? I mean, it says I actually gave Selena man of the match yesterday to have to go back into a role that he hadn't played all season. and then play such a pivotal role in the 2 goals. But it was his quick thinking on the free kick. Chaplin gave it to him, as Rich rightly says, and Burns put it in, and he had the assist on the second one. But and I think, they probably were thinking we'll get to like 60 minutes, 65 minutes. I don't think, it's so, I think probably he's taken a leaf out of Mourinho's book so much that it's planned to the minute. They probably were always going to probably said to Piggott, right, you'll get 20 minutes in the second half, then we'll take you off. Then Backinson will come on. Then Slean will move forward. I don't think any of this is by chance. Him and Martin Perk just discussing it. I think it's all premeditated.
But that substitution, Matt, in itself was almost it wasn't almost. It was a tactical masterstroke because you've just given Fleetwood a set of questions and then maybe just starting to figure out the answer, and then you completely change the test on them.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was obviously one of the issues we had with Cook, wasn't it? It was always going to be 4-2-3-1, just with different personnel. And then suddenly you're now seeing a more fluid, can't even say it, fluid formations and a different style of play. And you're asking questions of a team that's struggling to stay in this division. It was good, really good.
Here's a question for you, Rich. Bersant Selena, from my eyes, when we had the ball, was playing well in advance of Sam Morsey. When we lost the ball, was asked to fill in next to Sam and be a 2. Can he do that against a better team, a Portsmouth, for example, or an Oxford, or is that asking too much of Bersant?
I thought he'd done well yesterday, not just like you say going forward. He did work back there in the first half. Won his tackles, won a couple of headers.
Yeah,
I think it might have been just to suit that game, Martin. Yesterday, like we said, we're always, not just yesterday. We are a team who has a lot of the ball, don't we, in possession?
Yeah.
But when you're playing a team who've got better midfielders, who you have to track them, maybe not. It'll be interesting what he goes with on Tuesday night. Lincoln at home. But it was interesting when he said after the game he wanted to get another player who can score a goal, and that's important, isn't it? This time of the season when we're chasing our tails a little bit, and we need as many people on that pitch who can score a goal. I thought Selena first half, he was a little bit too deep for my liking. He was picking them balls up and trying to thread them through, wasn't he? Whereas second half, obviously when the change was made, he went left side and he showed what he can do on the second goal with a lovely through ball to Caden Jackson. So it'd just be interesting Tuesday. Does he keep an unchanged team? I can't see there being many changes, in personnel. There might be the odd one. He might bring Backinson in and push Selena further forward, but we'll have to just wait and see.
They'll have more of a goal threat, I think, Lincoln on Tuesday. They've got John Marquis, haven't they? Got 2 yesterday in that win against Sheffield Wednesday. I've always rated him as a good player. So be a bit more of a goal threat. They didn't really have anything up front, did they, Fleetwood?
No. Kev Sherwood, Morsey was tremendous yesterday. A proper captain who's now leading by example. The pressure was on and the lads handled it well. Callie with another name drop. Backinson was decent yesterday. I even had to apologise to him for how I've slated him on here.
Non-believers. Backinson non-believers.
When Callie texted me that last night, I texted back saying, what is it now? Rakeem who?
He played a lovely through ball, Rakeem Harper, yesterday.
I don't want to talk about
lovely through ball, Matt. Straight to the Wickham player. Bang. Thank you very much.
I don't want to talk about it.
Is that an assist?
Well,
it's just getting back on Matt's point there about Fleetwood had nothing up front. Watching that game yesterday, it was a real sobering thought coming to my mind, Matt, when you think Toto Enciala, Ellis Harrison both played for Town in the Championship. Let that sink in, everybody.
Do you know what?
Where we are now.
That's a really interesting point that you bring up there, because me and Neil had the exact same conversation last night when he said to me, do you think if we had McKenna instead of Hurst in the Championship, would we have stayed? And I said, well, it's really difficult to answer that because the squad that year was incredibly bad. You had Ellie Harrison and Caden Jackson as your front two. You had Toto NCI as your back. You had John Nolan now playing in League Two for Bristol Rovers in midfield. It was an historically bad team. But McKenna was a great manager. So it's one of those interesting points, but you're right. Eddie Harrison yesterday was, Luke Wolfenden got home last night and probably found him still in the back pocket.
He was more interested eating the grass, wasn't he? Or what grass there was on the pitch.
It was the sand, mate.
Slithering around on the floor.
They could all be in League Two as well next season, couldn't they? All together.
Yeah, absolutely. Lewis, I'd like to see Piggott and Jackson the next two to continue to work on the partnership with the same midfield set up yesterday. Well, we don't want to be too positive on this platform because it's not what we're known for. So let's go to Joe Piggott now. How did we view Joe's performance yesterday? I'll start with you this time, Rich. How did you see Mr. Piggott?
I thought he had a decent game.
Yeah,
He's
100%.
crying out for a goal, isn't he? You know, we're there watching the
Hit the
chance.
post, what, 4 times now?
He's 4 times. I think the goalkeeper, they reckon he got a little nick on that.
Yeah, looks like
it's
it.
one of them, Matt, where if he's in form, he probably mishits that and it bobbles into the corner and it's a goal. He's hit it too well. Should score.
Yeah.
He'll probably be disappointed with himself. But I thought first half he dropped deeper. He got in them little pockets, held the ball up well, linked the play. I thought he had a decent game. I know the Fisherman's not in the chat. I know Mike was quite critical of him on Twitter yesterday, but I thought he done okay. McKenna said it was his best performance so far. I'd like to see him play again on Tuesday night because give the guy a little bit of confidence. You know, he's obviously short of confidence in front of goal, but I thought he got more involved as well yesterday, Martin, when previous games he's a little bit sort of on the sort of periphery. But I thought yesterday he really got involved in that first half. I thought he had a really good half. He was a little bit quieter after half time. It was the right substitution at the right time. But I think he obviously needs a goal for himself. But look, we're all willing him to do well, aren't we? We don't want him to keep going through this goal drought. Yeah. Interesting stat. I think it was Lewis Robertson this morning. Marcus Stewart, what did he get? 2 goals in his first 10 games. It is too easy nowadays to write people off. With social media, he's shit, get rid of him. Look at Caden Jackson. He's a perfect example of people writing him off. But when you realise that Caden Jackson, Matt, he's in his 4th season at the football club. He's only scored 20 goals for Town in the league.
Yeah.
Although one of those seasons was obviously cut short.
True.
Yeah. So you got to bear that in mind.
One was in the Championship where he was finding his feet very well.
Yeah, with a really bad team. Just to, obviously before I bring Matt in there to answer about Joe Pigott, just to give that proper stat there. Thanks to Lewis Robinson for it. Joe Pigott 8 starts, 2 goals. Marcus Stewart in 99/00 prior to the playoffs 10 starts, 2 goals. So somewhat similar. I called him the glue, Matt, to Cruncher. I said he was the glue that made it work first half, brought Jackson and Chaplin and Co into the team. Yeah. Great hold-up play, what you need away from home.
Yeah.
How did you see Mr. Pigott?
Yeah, I totally agree. I do feel like the fans of McKenna are using a different measurement to say how good a game he's had. As fans, we're just reactionary. Oh, he hasn't scored.
We want goals. You want goals from a striker.
He's not played well. But I think McKenna has given him a totally different target in that exactly what you just said. Hold the ball up. Bring the wider players in. See if we can create chances that come in from crosses into the box. So I think he did really well. He was unlucky. He hit the post. And he did hold up the ball lovely and that little turn in the centre circle and played it out to Chaplin. That was a really good bit of play. When the keeper came out and headed it and he was alert enough to try the chip. There was another one where he had a shot on the edge of the box. I think he went out for a corner. That is a player still with confidence. I mean, that takes a hell of a mindset to come into a big club like us at that level. As Rich rightly said, I think he's going to score 24 goals. He's got 2 goals, one which is questionable. I think it was an own goal, really, but he got given it. It's easily to say his confidence could be right on the floor, but he's still there. He's still chipping away. And as Rich said, we all want him to do well. If he pulls on the blue shirt, wearing the badge, we all want him. No one's sitting here going, "Oh, right, shit, we want him out." We all want him to do well, and we know his father passed away mid-season.
Yeah.
I still think, even though people are saying, "Oh, he could leave the club in the summer," he might do. We don't know, do we? But I actually think he's delivering on what McKenna is asking from him. It might not be goals at the moment, but in terms of hold-up play and all the good stuff you just said, I think McKenna's probably really liking him.
Yeah, Mike D believes he's playing better than Bond in that lone role. Deserves to be ahead of him at the moment. That lob is cheeky. The lob was a nice attempt at a goal, to be fair. I do.
Was,
you just feel with Pigott, Crunch, that he's a goal away from a run, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he's, like you said there, Matt, he's obviously got a specific role in this team, especially away from home. You need that central striker. He's got to get hold of, secure that ball. He's got to bring the other players in.
Exactly, yeah.
And the other players, Bon and even Norwood, when they've played, well, Norwood's not played that role so much because he's been on the left, but their first touch and hold-up play, Martin, has not been that good. Now, Joe Pigott, I'd like to see Joe Pigott with a full pre-season under Kieran McKenna, and then see what he can do next season, because...
Yeah, good shout.
I think you don't score 20-odd goals in this league with being a poor footballer. You're not. It's just it is a confidence thing. And I think he's obviously at the minute, he's low on confidence. But I agree with Martin there. Who's to say if he scores Tuesday night, he's not off on a run and he might score in his next 2 or 3 games? And we all hope that, look, whoever's playing, I know Colin, Colin's comments about Joe Pigott, Colin regrets them, but we all have opinions. Sometimes after a game, we're hot, we say things that we don't mean.
It's passion.
And that's just how it is. But let's hope Joe Pigott plays on Tuesday and let's really hope that he gets a goal.
And let me say that there'll be no one more disappointed with his goal return than Joe Pigott.
Exactly.
He's come with a big rep.
Absolutely.
20 plus goals for Wimbledon. So it obviously shows you he was pretty clinical because they didn't score a lot of goals and struggled against relegation. He'll be absolutely gutted with his return. I'm absolutely certain. He probably doesn't need all of us reminding him he's not had a great goal return.
But honestly, I think, a bit like the £2 machine, in the Chinese, when you get there, you're waiting for your Chinese takeaway on a Saturday night. You just takes one win and suddenly the machine don't stop paying out. And I think Pigott is going to be the same. I think if he gets a goal,
you're Chinese, have you?
We have, yeah, it's beautiful, great fun. You spend more money on that than you do the takeaway.
Win some prawn crackers.
Absolutely, yes. Mate, if they give away food with that, I would be in there every day playing it.
I had Chinese last night. Very nice.
Did you? Yeah. Did you? I've not had a Chinese in months, but the point stands. I do think with Joe, 1 goal. There'll be a run coming in. I really do. Talking about runs, we'll put into the chat the link for you to come on and have your say about your football team. Maybe we've not talked about something we should be talking about. It's your chance to tell us. Caden Jackson. Richie said about 3 years. We've got Louis Fenton here saying, where was it? To be fair, Jackson has never had a proper run of games with us until now. Recent run of form shows what happens when you have a change of manager. Lots of love for Caden. I've always support, well, not always, I won't go that far, but I've said this year that he could come good. He is coming good. And it was a great finish for the second goal, Rich. A really smart take because the keeper, to his credit, has stood up as long as he possibly could. Made it difficult.
Yeah, it was a good goal. It was a good run. Great ball from Selena, and he's just slotted it in. We've seen a lot of our players miss one-on-ones, and it was nice that Caden took the goal. I thought his all-round play yesterday was good. I think he'll be here next year. I think that Kieran McKenna, he's raved about him, hasn't he? I think he probably offers something different than no one else does. He's got the pace. And it's just nice to see Caden at the minute scoring goals. Looks like he's enjoying his football. He said before, didn't he? Thought he was going to leave at least 3 times in the wilderness. New manager comes in and he's like a player reborn, isn't he?
He got linked, didn't he? What was it? Coventry, I think it was called? Bournemouth, Huddersfield.
Bournemouth,
there were a few teams fighting around, and that would have turned his head, wouldn't it?
He's got adaptability, though, isn't he? Because he can play up front. And yesterday he played that inside left role, which Norwood's been occupying. And I think he played it really well, particularly with the hold up player Pigott.
Yeah, I think it suits him better there, as you rightly say, because he's got the pace there a little bit to push the ball forward. But yeah, again, similar to Pigott in a way. Someone who was frozen out, looked like he was leaving, didn't seem to be rated by management or coaches. Could easily just up sticks and down tools and whatever you want to call it, and just go through the motions. But he's got himself back in the side. Had that great performance against Burton. Scored again yesterday. Had a good performance at what was was it Wimbledon?
MK Dons.
Yeah, MK. Fantastic to see. They're the kind of players we need, actually. People that have faced a little bit of adversity, found themselves out in the wilderness, have come back in and are suddenly making impacts.
They run towards it, as was the catchphrase that started the year. People are going to run
He's
towards adversity.
He's hitting what Ashton wants, running towards adversity. Yeah.
You can see what McKenna's trying to do with the inside forwards, Rich. You're simply trying to stress the left back or right back and the centre halves. You're trying to make them question who's picking up this inside player with also an overlapping winger on the outside. And you're trying to stress the football intelligence of third-tier players without being disrespectful to them.
He probably suits this role more than Norwood's like a bit of a fish out of water when he plays out there.
That's no pace. You need pace in that role.
I wouldn't say he's not got pace, Norwood. I think Norwood's quite quick, but Jackson's got natural.
He's faster than me.
Yeah.
But look, Caden, just keep doing what you're doing. Every time you get picked, give the manager a problem to leave you out. He's done it again yesterday. Scored another goal. The ovation he got, he took him off just near the end. Great ovation from the away fans. So let's hope that he does it again on Tuesday night, because He's gonna have to keep scoring. Whoever's playing up front, they're gonna have to keep scoring. If we're gonna get near these playoffs, we're gonna have to step it up, because at the minute we're playing teams we should be beating. We've struggled against Cheltenham and Morecambe. We've beaten Fleetwood yesterday, but the games that we've got coming up are going to be the real acid test. The next 4 games will tell us where we're going to go.
Absolutely.
I think.
We have. Sorry, go on, Matt.
I was going to say, it's now that chance to see, can we get this much fabled 3 wins on the trot?
Well, this is it.
We have to have some kind of run in order to chip away at the deficit that we're facing, haven't we?
I agree.
We're not going to do 3 points here, a draw there, a loss. Do you see what I mean? It's got to be WWW.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. Lewis Robinson's, often quoted in the chat of, WWD. Could be just as useful.
Yeah, it's still 2 points a game, isn't it? To be fair, it is.
I think it's going to be near to 80 points. I think that 6th place team.
It's really competitive in that top 6, isn't it? But I mean, look at Lincoln yesterday. Sod's law, isn't it? That Lincoln suddenly hit a bit of form against Sheffield Wednesday, team we struggled with, hit them 3-1, and then they come to Portland Road on Tuesday. But it might be could be a different game away from home for them.
Yeah. I've got a couple of comments to get through, a couple of questions, and then we've got Stephen Parry. We've got the GOAT, but it's not too late for you to click the link and have your say as well. Please do get involved. We've got Ashley Smith, YouTube member. I think he'll be here. Norwood goes. Lewis Robinson, another YouTube member. KJ's body language is much better than at any time in the last 18 months. Fair play to him. Lewis then asks, what's your thoughts on Chaplin yesterday? Before you answer that, Ben posted a question earlier. Here's a good question. If Cook was still in charge, where would we be in the table? Mr. Phillips, take that one.
Crikey, I don't know. I mean, Cook obviously feels like he got the elbow too soon and he was still integrated in the squad. But, a younger manager came in, hit the ground running, has got much better luck. I've said before, it feels like Cook was dialed up and now we've hit broadband. That's kind of what the difference feels like to me. I feel like probably actually would be around mid-table still, but not within a shout of the top 6. I think we probably would have drawn too many games. Is my Cook's over-reliance on 4-2-3-1 and the fact that he never changed it up. And, you're seeing the fruits of someone who's a bit more open-minded, new to the game. He's only a dozen games into his career and he's quite happy to experiment. And I think he's got coaches around him that probably encourage that.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so you're going to put your head on the line there and say we'll be in 9th?
Maybe a little bit below 11th, maybe.
I'm not sure. I want to leave 9th desperately, but not in the wrong direction.
I just think we would have chalked up some of the wins we have done, like Wickham at home, for example.
Fair point. Lewis, then on Chaplin, what are your thoughts on Chaplin being there, Rich?
I thought he was busy yesterday. He did benefit from, like you said, Martin, Joe Pigott playing, because he was bringing him into the game. Quick thinking with the free kick, for the goal.
Yeah.
He's always got, he might not have the best game, Connor, sometimes, but it's like the Gillingham game at home. I didn't think he's playing very well. He's always got that little bit of magic in his locker that he can score a goal, just like that. It was like the Gillingham game. One touch, bang, it was in the net. And we're going to need these players towards the end of the season to win games. We're going to be playing better teams. We might not get so many chances. Last week we created, we had 22 on target, 22 attempts on goal. I thought he'd done all right. It's interesting, though, because we sat here last Sunday and we were a bit sort of miserable and we played really well. Whereas yesterday, we didn't play as well as we did at Morecambe. But that's football. It's all about the 3 points, isn't it? It's all about the 3 points at quarter-5 on the Saturday. It doesn't matter, especially this stage of the season. It doesn't really matter how we play. We're going to dominate the ball in a lot of these games. But if we win games 1-0 by not playing well, by being a little bit lucky, we're not going to care. We ain't going to give 2 hoots, are we, really?
No. Exactly. He's kind of, I've said it before, he's kind of waspish, isn't he, Chaplin? He almost sort of comes into, he has a role to play. But often you see him on either side of the pitch, don't you? He's almost in the middle. It's almost like he's got a bit of a free roll, and then he might go quiet for a spell, and then, as Rich rightly says, he'll suddenly crop up and score a goal inside the box or something. So, again, that's kind of like one of the reasons why he was brought in, I suppose. It's that quick-wittedness of a championship player dropping down to the 3rd tier, isn't it?
The thing with Chaplin is he's got a good goal return, really, from the games he's played. And it's almost a little bit that, if Chaplin is Verstappen, he's, great. But then Hamilton turns up, or, in other words, Selena turns up, and you think, Yeah, he's good, but he's not Selena. Like in any other team,
Yeah.
Connor Chaplin, I think, would be looked at and not overlooked. I think he's overlooked too often, is what I'm trying to say, because of the players he's got around him that are just maybe a little
in the
bit
shadows.
better.
It's gone into the shadows a little bit just because of the people that have been brought in. Yeah,
8 goals from midfield is, for us, over recent years, is not
How many starts is that from, Martin? How many starts has he had this season?
I think from memory, it's something like 24, 25. I'll have a look at the proper stat in a second. But
if he played the full season, he's getting 1 in 3 there. That's a decent return.
He certainly had a bit of a spell in the autumn, didn't he, where he was floating around on the bench a little bit. That Wickham away game, I think he was on the bench, wasn't he?
29 now. What I can never understand is 17 starts. Sorry, so 17 total played 29, 17 starts, 7 goals, 2 assists, 2 big chances. I can never understand why he's overlooked more for a Luco. That's something I often lay in bed at night thinking about the show we've just done, and I often think, why is Chaplin overlooked consistently for Sonny Aluko? And that's not being disparaging towards Aluko, Matt, but Chaplin's got the stats that back up the claim.
Yeah. You think he's contributing more to when he's given an opportunity?
Without doubt.
Stats do back it up. I don't know. Is it because, I don't know, Aluko just brings maybe a little bit more? Well, I don't even want to say. I think Chaplin is quite streetwise. That's probably the wrong word. I don't know. Certainly Aluko had that breakout moment under McGrill, didn't he? That 1-1 at Pullman Road against Sunderland, where suddenly we was all like, oh my God, that was an unbelievable display. When everyone thinks back to the Newport game, everyone's like, who the hell is this guy? His legs are gone. So, I mean, maybe just with supporters, we still think back to that game back in December, and, that maybe that makes people side more with Aluko, I guess. But certainly Chaplin has got a goal in him and seems to contribute more to the games.
He's right there in the Ipswich Jules. He's always putting himself. He's like that little Jack Russell, and he's nipping at your ankle.
He's a road runner.
Yeah. What a cartoon that was.
Great, wasn't it?
Acme.
Yeah, Mike D. Chaplin worked hard yesterday. His final ball was lacking. I'll just read out Ipswich Jules' comment. Chaplin never stops running, always putting himself about and giving the opposition something to think about for 90 minutes. Matt Stannard, I do think, though, Cruncher, sometimes we try to overplay. We look dangerous when we move the ball quickly. We look vulnerable when we don't.
I don't think we look vulnerable at all. Did we look vulnerable at all in that game yesterday?
What is the stat for you that I saw somewhere?
A little bit.
13 games, 5 conceded, 0 scored by recognised strikers.
It's very good.
There you
Not too bad. Not too bad at all.
1 goal in 700 minutes, Martin, we've conceded.
Amazing, yeah. Really
David, Gov, will you be doing the World Cup show at the end of the year? If the schedule permits, because unless we're promoted, we're going to be playing League One football, which means we'll still have town games in and around the World Cup. So
if there is a World Cup,
well,
that's what I can say.
Such a cheerful bloke, isn't he?
I'm only commenting what's going on.
Might do. Those 4 points we didn't get against Cheltenham and Morecambe have really hurt. We could be on 60 points now. And me Gran could be a bike if she had wheels. Stephen Parry, how are you, my friend?
Hi, Steve. How you doing?
I'm all right. Just recovering for the last couple of days, but I'm keeping going.
Is the beep gone?
No, he was supposed to have been coming on Friday, but I had a wedding, so I had to reschedule to this Friday. So he's coming around this Friday.
Was it a heavy one? Was it a heavy one at the wedding?
Sounds like it.
Was it a heavy one?
A little bit, yeah. It only cost me 70 quid, so I was quite happy about that.
You lightweight.
I got a meal thrown in. It cost me 150 quid the week before the christening.
Bloody hell. 150 quid?
That was what, all day out and then going.
150 quid.
That was all day out and then going back to someone's house with a bottle of Jaeger.
What was the baby?
You get free bedroom house for that money in Fleetwood.
Don't.
I think you started on, did you? You didn't get started on by the ultras. There were ultras at Fleetwood.
I saw it.
That's my go. Don't go.
He's going to go.
I saw it when I was waiting at the tram stop, and I saw Callie stood there watching.
The chip shop boys.
We'll come to that shortly then.
So, Stephen.
I think people's made more of that than what it actually was. It looked like a couple of
we'll get to it.
I think it looked like a couple of 10-year-olds trying to pretend they were like big enough.
The chip shop boys are coming.
Yeah. But it's just embarrassing. But never mind. No, I thought the game yesterday, I thought Cruncher's right. We didn't look like we were going to cut up at all. Every time they played a through, Ellis Harrison, he was in somebody's pocket somewhere. He was falling over. He was like doing everything he can to try and get something. They knew their best chance was free kicks and throw-ins. And we even stifled that. It was just like, you couldn't say it was a dominant defensive performance because they had the odd snapshot, you know what I mean, which was probably about all they deserved, you know. But keeper was alive. He was alive. He was alert. I still think the change for Backinson for Piggott, even though I agree Piggott played well, he did his job, he did his role, and he sort of set the tone for the game. But the change needed to come, and I think Backinson coming on, allowing Morsey and Selena to get forward, really changed the dynamic because I don't think they could cope with that. You know, they didn't know who to mark. You know, and then when Chaplin had that quick free kick and he plays it through to Selena and then Selena to Wes, they didn't know where to go. They were all on back foot and they were all running towards the goal line. And like Morsey Suddo went for a ball in the box. It was you know, everybody's saying it's not an easy goal. It's a very hard goal to score that because everything could go wrong on that pitch. But it was just done so beautifully. And within a matter of like 5 seconds, it was in the back of the net, and they're all stood there like, well, what the bloody hell's happened here? You know what I mean? Because they thought they were comfortable.
It was an effortless launch, really, wasn't it? Yeah, you're right. Like a training drill, as we said earlier.
Yeah, I think after about 60 minutes, well, I think it was about 50 odd minutes, wasn't it? After that length of time, they probably thought they were comfortable. Because I was not watching Nappa's blog afterwards when I got back, and he was saying up until the goal, you know, that they felt like they'd done a job. We'll get a draw here. You know, they felt so confident. And I think looking at our recent results where we didn't take advantage of the first half and other teams have come out and lifted the game and we've struggled to get that goal, I think you could probably think that they would have some confidence into the second half. But it was because of that change and that quick thinking that we had. And it was like bing, 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 bing in. And that's it. They were lost it. They'd lost it. And from that, they had nothing. You know, and the second goal was always coming. And I'll hold my dues up. You know, I've had my issues with Piggott. I thought he was brilliant. And to be honest, I think he probably will get sacked. He probably will be here next year because there's a role for him in. Oh, yeah. I can see him inside, you know, a Selena or a Chaplin. You know, two people who can create a goal and he's in there. Whether he holds the ball up for somebody else or whether they cross it in for him to have a touch. You know what I mean? I can see him in that role because I struggle to see Bon in that role, but I can see him doing that role because I think he's hold up players better than Bonds. You know, I saw him yesterday and there were people all over him and he was barging past people. You know, again, Morsey, I still think was man of the match. You know, he's another one. He's like a little terrier. He'll put his foot in. You know, it's not his ball, but he'll put a foot in and suddenly the ball will trickle to one of our players. It's unbelievable how much work he does. Just to have a go, but it's just a complete performance. I enjoyed every minute of it. Plus the fact it was. Sorry,
Steve. I've just got a £3 super sticker to announce from David. Thank you very much, David. Sorry to interrupt you there, Stephen. But I'd missed it, Jack, because I was busy typing away.
Another one. We got another
audio. No, I've just seen it. I was doing the audio description for the show. Taking an opportunity while I was listening to you, so I missed it. I do apologise, David.
I have no problem being told to shut up. The wife says it all the time, so.
And Neil, £2 from you. We love it. We appreciate both of you. Thank you both so much. You were talking about Sam Morsey there, Stephen, before I interrupted you. I'm terribly sorry. He was given man of the match yesterday on the Full-Time Fans React show. Was he your man of the match?
Hang on. Mine's just sent me a message, so I've just got to do an impression. Hello, lads and ladies, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today, the Tods are in action against the Tractor Boys. There you go. Shout out to
we love nappers on this platform. That's a great impersonation. It really is.
Very good.
Although by the end of his pod yesterday, he was saying, I'm thinking about giving up on Fleetwood.
Yeah, he was a bit down in the dump. And they've got some real tough games coming up, Steve. I think they've got Sunderland coming up. They've got Wickham. But they might be lucky because there's worse teams than them, Matt.
I'm telling you what, though, Rich, I was thinking about that, and everyone was sitting there going, well, this was easier than Cheltenham, this was easier than Morecambe. But we have to remember, this is the only team this season who's doubled Rotherham.
They've got a great home record. They've only lost one.
And that is easy to do. You know, if you can double Rotherham, you've got something about you. You know, because nobody else bloody has. You know, so we have to go into this game that we've just played and say, look, at the end of the day, they're doubled the side who's running away with this league. So they've got summer. So if they've got summer, we have to take more credit out of the game that we had, especially playing on that potato field. It was awful. You know, we have to take more credit out of this game than I think some people are actually giving. They just see Fleetwood and go, oh, well, it's only Fleetwood. But drill into the details about, you know, look at Morecambe. Morecambe had some good results as well. You know, they drew with Wigan. You know, Rotherham's boss said they were probably one of the best teams they'd played. So these weren't pushover teams that we've just played. I think people look into it and just see the name and think, oh well, who are they? You can't do that. These teams, they have an identity, they have a style. They're a bit like Wimbledon. They do the things dirty, they do the things ugly, but they do it well. And on some days, it works. Most of the time, it doesn't. That's why they use it at the bottom of the table. But every now and again, a team like this will rock up against one of the top clubs, and then everybody will going, bloody hell, and you have to be careful of that. And I think Kieran McKenna knew that, and I think he played his tactics perfectly well. I think that was probably the best way to play. You start off with a bit of flair, a bit of skill in midfield. I said maybe we should play like, I don't know, I said Aluko, but he ended up playing Selena in centre midfield, just to give it a little bit more of a flexible dynamic. And that actually worked for the first 50 minutes. But then they got used to that, and then he made the switch, put a defensive player in there, and then he had two players going attack, and I don't think they could cope with it. And I think it was just an all-round perfect performance. And the credit has to go to Kieran McKenna and the players, because he just seems to. We can't pick his team, and he picks his team, the best one that he thinks will do a job on the day. And we just have to, you can see by the results. You just have to sit there and now say, look, well, I trust him to do that. When the team comes out, you always get the Twitter sphere going, oh, I don't like that. I trust whatever he picks.
Yeah.
Because A, I probably couldn't pick better, and B, they're getting results. They're getting performances, Sometimes we might be unhappy with the results, but we're still getting the performances. So you just have to take it with a little bit of balance. And say, look,
well, you always do. To your credit,
I'm just saying we're doing well, and I still say we gain. I know it could be 8 points, but that's again we're talking about grannies and bikes there, aren't we? They've got to win the games. No one would have thought Sheffield Wednesday. Granny. No one would have thought Sheffield Wednesday would lose to Lincoln yesterday, but they did. So these surprises do pop up.
That's good for us, though. Because it sharpens our mind, I think. I think it resharpens the players' minds because like it did with Burton against Bolton. This isn't going to be a walk in the park. It isn't going to be just turn up and get 3 points. I think it will sharpen the minds. I think that helps us.
I think this week's going to be key for us. If we can get some good results against Lincoln and Portsmouth, I think we could start saying. I think we could start thinking about it being back on the gravy train. But we've got to take one game at a time. I know there's no point with this. Well, let's see where we are in a month, because that's not going to help anyone. Let's just we've got Lincoln on Tuesday. Let's go with Lincoln. Let's get past Lincoln, then go to Portsmouth. They'll be missing Marcus Ernest. That'll be a big blow for him. I know it didn't look like it, but it will be a big blow because he's a good source of goals, and he's been coming into form recently. So that'll be a big blow for them. So we'll go into those two games. Let's do the best we can. If we get points out of them, bonus. If we don't, well, we just say, well, we were in a tough spot before we started.
Okay. Stephen, appreciate you coming on and having that say. Speaking from the heart as always. Look after yourself, and hopefully we'll speak soon.
See you later.
3 points Tuesday night. Got Shanks. I think that's a new name in the chat. Love seeing new names in the chat. Definitely think we need to work on a loose ball. Give away too many and don't make enough Everton winning 1-on-1 for a loose ball. Lewis says Fleetwood, completely different side to the one at Portman Road. Was really impressed when we played them at home. Well, we're a different side.
Well, the kid who scored the goal for them in that game, Morton, went on loan to Peterborough.
They lost Matete.
Yeah. Who's
a big loss, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely. They're away at Sunderland Tuesday, I think.
They are. Well, I'm going to cut out overall goats. I'm not going to have one. I know Matt's not got one, but I'm going to come to your goat crunch because I think it's a very important one to come to. We've got Colin to come on, and then I'm not going to have any more time for anybody else. So Monday's show, Talking Town Extra Time, is the show. If you've got something to say and you've not had the chance to say it today, you can say it tomorrow. Crunch, your goat. What is it? What was it?
Stephen touched on it there, didn't he? Like coming out of the ground there yesterday, walking out with the kids, and there's these, I call them young hoodlums, giving it the big I am, running around the street. This is creeping back into football, Matt. I think there's trouble. You probably do see it magnified more on social media nowadays. There's bits and bobs happening.
Yeah.
And then you get yesterday, I think that the woman who Callie was on about, she got caught up in the commotion. I know there was a lad I see on one of the forums on Facebook this morning. Ipswich fan got punched 3 times. He was getting on the bus.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these kids, I'll call them kids. They're about 15 years old. There's not a fucking pube amongst them. You know, they'll all fucking run home to their fucking mothers. She'll be making them fucking sandwiches. They'll be back at school tomorrow morning. Now,
hello, Mr. Person. Have a ham sandwich, Mr. Person. Thank you, Mr.
jam
Person.
sandwich. Jam sandwich.
That was the one.
But you
Thank
think
you, Mr. Person.
you're going to football, and I see this is not the first time it happened. But saying that, I know there was a little bit of trouble after the Cheltenham game with Town fans, with Cheltenham fans when they were coming out last. So we can't just sit here and say, look, it's Fleetwood. It was their problem. There's been some problems at Portman Road, you know. And I go to football with my kids. I don't want to see none of this nonsense. My kids were looking at them and saying, what the hell's going on? Is this the way that you behave? No, it's not. You know?
I think it's one of the most deprived areas in the country, isn't it, Fleetwood? I certainly think it's in one of the biggest crime areas in the Northwest anyway. But yeah, it's young kids thinking they're ultras until they meet proper ultras.
Exactly.
They're going to run away. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That is the issue, isn't it? Yeah. I was shocked to hear it, really. Because from the Google Maps on the away day guide we did, I was getting the vibe from Fleetwood looking at it on the map. That was a bit like Felixstowe, you know, a seaside town with a club that had punched above its weight, was almost happy to be in League One. But then you get this underside, this underbelly that is it the first time that away fans have had issues? I would have thought
apparently not, but hopefully someone needs to stamp down on it, because if you look on social media, well, it's the police need to be aware.
Were they even at the ground? Well,
there was a few police in the town, the ones who go to the games, they go to everywhere with town, but I didn't see no local police. But you'd have thought that people would be aware of this if it's happened before.
Yeah.
You know,
no trouble coming out of Morecambe then, because the two are only like 10 miles away from each other.
No, and they really praised Town. Like they had the minute silence for one of their fans that was died, and you think, I don't know, maybe it's just a few kids trying to give it the big one, but it needs to be stamped out, you know, because like Matt says, they'll one day it'll be the wrong person or the wrong group of people that they start on, and then it won't be for fun for them, will it?
No. I've just been tagged in a post from Jace on Twitter with Raheem Harper's assist yesterday. Cheers, Jace.
Right.
Appreciate that, brother. Thank you very much. Thanks for sharing the good news. Sarah Davis, I hope you're doing really well after your surgery. Absolute little shits. No place in our game for this crap. Parents need to slap, letting them do it. Sarah with the passionate opinion there. Robert Wilson need to be taught a lesson. Hitting out. Yeah, no woman got struck. I mean,
I think she might have just been in the.
Don't matter, man. Don't matter at all. Am I calling Felixstowe the ghetto? As a Felixstowe lad born and raised on the playground where I spent most of my days, absolutely not. I love Felixstowe. So I've got a Q jumper here. Sorry, Colin, but he was at the game. He has spoken in the chat about the issues afterwards. It is, of course, King. I know everybody. Callie, here he is.
How are we doing, guys?
Good man. Talk to us. What did you see? Yeah,
no, I've been roped into moving some stuff from my mate Curtis. As you can see, the back of the bloody car.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. Heavy
so
lifting.
I've been roped into doing that, and he's out there somewhere. So we're just gonna.
Don't tell us that. You stayed at Toto's. Don't lie. You and Toto.
Listen,
friend.
You'll see me in a second. I'm going past the West Brom ground, so I'll be there.
Me. Hawthorne.
What
did you have last night with Toto, by the way? What was the meal? What did you have?
Toto had everything on that menu.
Mate, that menu was the biggest fucking menu I've seen in my life. We just went for, I think we all had half chickens, different flavors, extra hot. Actually, mate, what did you want? Chicken skewer. And you had a chicken skewer thing, so. And then Toto then decided halfway through the meal he wanted about 3 or 4 extra sides.
Well, to be fair, he had been run ragged by Caden the Goat Jackson. So
Lucas Robertson said, Callie, was it a Valentine's special?
It was a Valentine's special, I can't confirm. It was double date. It was a double date.
How did you see it yesterday? What with after the game violence, obviously the game itself? Just give us your opinions on it, King.
I mean, I won't go too much into the game. I'll do highlights in a second on that, but just quickly on that after game stuff. So we had kind of parked in line, so one of the little side streets, which was in line with the tram.
That's where we were.
Yeah, so like where that scaffolding thing was or whatever, right? So we parked there. And we went to the car after the game, mainly to warm up before we were going to meet the guys or whatever. And then we just saw a bunch of people, like Town fans, running from the tram across, like towards the ground type of side, towards that side. So I was like, what the hell's going on here? So we all got out of the car, ran towards it to see what was going on. And like, what the hell's going on? And it's all we could see is a bunch of kids, town fans and Fleetwood fans, just hyping up. But the only victim I saw was an old woman. It was bleeding, and she, like, a passerby had put her in a passenger seat just to look after her.
Was that the blue car, Callie? It was a blue car when it parked up.
Yeah. Say that again?
It was the blue car, wasn't it?
Yeah, like a A-class, like the old A-class or something. Yeah, so it was just one of those, and they're like, I don't know what's happened. I don't know how it's happened, but if people are having a bust up, you don't have a bust up in public like that anyway. You shouldn't really be doing it now anyway. But if you're having a bust up in public, the people there that are the ones getting hurt are people, just random passerbys and random fans. I can't believe she was there looking for some beef, looking for a fight. Do you know what I mean? So she's clearly a passerby, and you know, she's there bleeding from her head, and she's an old woman. Like she was a pensioner age. So you know, I saw her. She must have been about, like, I'd say 70s maybe. So she's gone to the Fleetwood game to watch Fleetwood v Ipswich Town, and she's come back with injuries. But it was just dumb. Like, we hype it all up. No one did anything. Like, it wasn't like, I remember the years where Millwall fans were knocking down people and axes.
Yeah.
Hold on 2 seconds. So yeah, there was you're on the podcast, by the way.
Oh, sorry guys. Sorry, jeez.
No, you're right.
Okay, you were there yesterday as well.
Yeah.
That's why we won.
Who won the beef yesterday?
Huh? Oh yeah, bloody hell.
The woman.
Yeah. Dangerous.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Sorry, but yeah, he's the one that brought me into moving all this shit there. Yeah, as you know, it's Talking Town. It's live, so anything can happen. Which includes Curtis just randomly popping in your window. But yeah, it was just like, people aren't beefing, so like, no one's actually there saying, "Oh, let's have a proper fist up" and all the rest of it, which is good, because I don't think you need to have that anyway. Go to the game, enjoy the game, have your banter in the stands, and that's where it ends. You don't need to then worry about, right, outside. Because me personally, we walked around, we didn't have any issues. Like, we're walking with Fleetwood fans, past Fleetwood fans, all the rest of it, and Ipswich fans, obviously, and we had no one like shouting in our faces or saying something like that. But I don't even know to this day to this moment, what was fully happened. But something happened, and my only thing is, like, a poor old deer there is the one that looks to be the victim there, which ain't on really, is it? In terms of the game, it's one of the best games of beach football I've seen. So, you know, really good. Pitch was awful. It was absolutely awful. We were sitting, so we had seats, and we could, you know, it looked like good atmosphere. It felt good atmosphere where we were. Terraces, obviously, with good atmosphere as well. I could see Crunch standing next to Delia, or Delia's a fanboy.
Yeah, that was fantastic when he walked in full Norwich kit.
The stag do, yeah.
The stag do, yeah.
I'm not sure where he got his shirt printed, Callie, because he obviously didn't go to the official Norwich shop and get Delia 69 printed, because they wouldn't be doing that.
Well, maybe he went to the official Ipswich shop.
Oh, maybe.
But no, and I thought it did feel towards, like, especially towards the end of the first half, because Pickett hit the post right, maybe 43rd minute, something like that, and you're like, shit, it's not Morecambe all over again, is it now?
Yeah.
And then we come out, and I agree with the comments that you guys were saying earlier about Selena. Yes, he looked well with the ball and in possession, but when he went further forward, that's when you noticed a bit more of a threat. The goal was good. You know, Sam ghosting into the box, gets his first goal or whatever, and it come at a good time as well, because we talked about time and time again, we were applying the pressure, but then we don't take our chances, or we don't pick up on them. Whereas now we're applying the pressure now in the second half, and we actually got fruition, and we got a goal. And then Jackson, great finish as well from Jackson. That's not just like he's just, you know, he's got, I think he megs the keeper, or even megs the near side keeper. But a great finish by him. And like I said, I went up to Backinson after the game, and I was chatting to him for a bit, and I was like, mate, yeah, I've, as you may or may not know, I've been the one slating you off like other people, but I'll eat humble pie. You did well today. And he's like, okay, cool. And I go, you know, keep that up, and we'll all be happy. So, and credit to him, he looked good yesterday.
You're such a flip-flop, Callie, aren't you?
No, I'm not flip-flop. I'm just appreciate. You got to give people their credit, right?
Raheem who?
No, I feel like, no. We're still Raheem Harper fan zero. All right. So still Raheem Harper.
a bit quieter on that one today after that horrible.
Yeah, I'm not
horrible
on here jumping and hyping that. We're talking about back in still, right? But the only other thing I would say is because he likes to try those passes, there is still the odd hospital pass here and there.
It's true.
And I think yesterday there was a hospital pass once or twice, but then he makes some other great passing. I'm still not convinced on Matt's tag about the enforcer, about this so strong physical presence. He's not there, but he's a tidy player, and he's proven that.
He can pass to a blue shirt. That's what I like.
Well, yeah. Jury's still out, I reckon, on the left back. I'm kind of veering towards what I think you guys were saying earlier. Is he better than Penny? And defensively, we look solid, so we can be a bit more. We can afford to kind of take a bit more of a risk and go with an attacking player more than a defensive player.
Yeah.
I think Crunch actually hit the nail on the head the other week when he says, actually, he's a fullback that's been played as a wing back. He's not a natural wing back.
Like I said, Callie, I think on Friday, when Burns goes forward, JD's just naturally fills into that right back slot.
100%.
And it's different on the left hand side because he's just a left back playing wing back, I think.
Yeah, 100%. And it'd be interesting, next 3 games are massive for us. Without sounding too I don't know, whatever, it sounds like to us, the next 3 games will actually define the rest of our season. Because if we forget about, and I've said it before, forget about making the playoffs, it's about beating the teams in the playoffs. But I think if we can get two wins on the spin, and then go to Oxford, and then get a win against them, that shows we got something about us, and we've done it, and we're on the right trajectory. So it's exciting. So I'm definitely going to. I'll attend at least either Tuesday's game or Saturday's game, and then I'll be at Oxford as well.
All roads lead to Oxford.
Absolutely. Callie, good luck moving all the stuff that you're moving.
I know, right. If anyone wants to give us a hand, just head down to Raleigh Regis, and I'll be much appreciated.
Don't strike me as someone who's a heavy lifter, Matt.
No.
No, that's why. Look, Mason's here. He's lifting as well.
Right, Mason.
I got Mason and Curtis.
He's the Sam Morsey. He's dictating.
I'm the PM, so I do that side of it, right?
Absolutely. Callie, good luck with it. We love you. Stay well. Right, let's bring the go. We've got obviously limited time now, but we will hear from Colin tomorrow night. I'm absolutely sure as well, because he's the GOAT. And when he wants to speak, this platform will always let him. But here he is, Colin, Mr. Positivity. How are you doing?
How you doing?
How are we? All right.
You doing good?
We're doing good. What does the t-shirt say? Keep calm. Trust the go.
Look at that.
Obviously, I'm sure we'll hear from you tomorrow night as well, because it's important we hear from you ahead of Lincoln. But this
Matt
week,
Stannard, just before Colin speaks, Matt Stannard says, Callie, do you put up cupboards too? There you go. Just for you.
The budgies.
Colin, yesterday, how did you see it?
Yeah, like I said yesterday, it was one of those games. Bit of a banana skin could have been, but I thought, like I said yesterday, I thought there was a lot of pressure on the boys yesterday to get the points. And like Rich always says, they come home with a bacon, which is obviously what we need. And totally 100% agree with Callie just now on the next three games. Yeah.
Plymouth in there as well. I'd throw Plymouth in there as well, Colin, because you've got Portsmouth, like Lincoln Tuesday, then you've got Portsmouth, Oxford, Plymouth.
Yeah.
We have to win all 4, I think.
I'm with you, Rich. But like Callie said just now, quite rightly, the next 3 games, are paramount. Because obviously Plymouth's at home. It'll be PM day. That'll be massive, that game. Honestly, I'll tell you what, if we win these 3 games, I didn't say this last night, I didn't really think about it, to be honest, but Plymouth's going to be PM day, and hopefully we're going to do, like we did down in like they did down in Plymouth. They did a marvellous thing down there for Paul, and I'm sure, because let's be honest about it, I think the Plymouth fans would agree. He was a bigger legend at Ipswich, obviously.
Yeah.
And if our owners and CEO and whatever you don't do equal or even go more better than they did, I'll be very, very surprised. So it'll be a big crowd. Obviously, Plymouth will bring quite a lot of fans up. There's no doubt about that, because of PM Day, and they travel well anyway. So Port, Lincoln will be 25,000. Portsmouth will be about the same, I would imagine. And then obviously we go to Oxford and then Plymouth. Do you know, I've got a funny feeling if the results go right, that could be 26, 27,000. That really, really could. Because Plymouth will sell out, I would imagine. And there'll be a lot of people, maybe, or quite a few people, I should say, who maybe don't go to Portman Road quite so much as they used to do. But I reckon, the PM Day will bring probably another 1,500 in for that game. That could be massive, that game.
Matt said this before. It's like that snowball effect. We need now to keep it. Look, it's exciting. We're sitting here. I know we are behind the 8 ball, but it could be a really exciting end to the season. I think we've had 6 games. I think 5 or 6 of the last 6 games at Portman Road have all been over 20,000. I think for the remaining 6 games, because Paul P puts there 6 of the last 10 at home, they'll be over 20,000 for all them games. We want to keep this going for as long as we can. Just hang in there. But I still think we need to win the next 4 games to give ourselves a chance.
I totally agree, Rich, and to add a little bit more fuel to the fire there, as regards the attendances, what we've also got to remember is on I think it's Good Friday, we've got Wigan, which is obviously on Good Friday, which is the bank holiday.
Easter Monday.
Easter Monday. Easter Monday. And then, of course, last game of the season, if it goes all, to the wire, we'll have Charlton and being a London club, Charlton will probably sell out. That could be like another, 28, 29,000 like the Sunderland game quite easily.
I think if they all said, if you said, Martin, we could go into that Charlton game and we'd still have a chance of getting in the playoffs. We might have a couple of results go our way. I'd take that every day of the week now.
Yeah.
Settle down.
Down. Well, if you won all your home games, Colin, that would take us to 74 points. That would normally get you in the top 6, wouldn't it?
This time last week, I was sitting over a show that was almost in mourning for a season. And now I'm sitting here being told if we can still be in touch come Charlton.
Colin's got that betting slip in his cupboard for me. He's got that betting slip. £5 English.
Take one game at a time.
A week is a long time in football.
Bloody is, you're right. And this week could be the longest week of them all. So, Lincoln at home's Tuesday. Colin, huge crowd. 20,000 plus, thanks to that man there, the patron saint of tickets. We finally get our.
Come on, get to the game. Get to the game.
Yes, because we'll get more team card points. So get yourself bloody there.
When are we getting them? I want to get a new cap. I want one of them away days copper caps.
I ain't buying nothing.
Can I just say something else, please, on your channel?
Take it away. The floor is yours for all 30 seconds.
Thank you. On the Joe Pigott thing, and I'm going to be really serious now, and I'm going to put my real serious head on. On the Joe Pigott thing, and I'll go live saying this. I've apologised to Joe personally. I've apologised to a certain player's mother and father personally, and I would like to say to anybody, Ipswich supporters I'm talking about, who I truly love, right, and always have done, always will do, right? If I offended anybody by my stupidity on that particular day, of which Rich is absolutely right, I totally regret, and he knows that. No, Rich, no, let me finish. If I've actually offended somebody, and they think that I'm of a lesser person towards my football club and my fellow Ipswich Town supporters, you don't know me. Rich does, Matt does, Gov does, and the majority of the people on this channel who see me every Saturday or every other Saturday know me as well. And if I have offended anybody, old, young, or whatever, I do honestly apologise to you, because I do regret it, and I can't say any more. I don't want people coming up to me at the statue and saying, "Oh, you know, blah blah blah," because I don't want that. I like to think, you know, I'm a father, I'm a grandfather, and what have you, and I don't want that, and I don't want people to think worse of me, because that's that.
The thing is, no one will come up to you and talk to you man to man, because us three, we've had stick online. You'll see these people at the game and they walk on by, because unlike you, Colin, they haven't got a backbone, and you have.
Absolutely. And after a game, the emotions always run high. So, Colin, you know, I appreciate what you've said there, but hold your head up high. You've seen the good times and you've seen the bad times, and you've got the right to have passion and love for a football club that's given you so much.
Lastly, Glove, like Lewis put in the chat today, are you doing a show at Wembley for the playoff final?
Without a shadow of a doubt, I am. On the pitch. On the pitch.
I'm with. Listen, Gov, I'm with Lewis. I love that guy. I really do. I'm with Lewis 100%. We're going to be there, and Rich is going to be there with his boys. Matt's going to be there. You're going to be there. It's going to be brilliant. I'll tell you. We're 6 home games left. Let's win them all, boys. And let's just hope that we, like Rich says, we're an absolutely unbelievable finish of the season and take it to that wire against Charlton Athletic.
Great way to end it. Great way to end it. Colin, we love you. Appreciate it.
Keep love you all.
Keep loving the club. Another great show tonight. We've got one tomorrow, 8:30. Obviously, the F1 fan show for an F1 fan, new or old, at 7:15 as well. Got a special show at 8:30 tomorrow night. I'm not going to say too much just yet, but a special show is incoming. Even Nisha don't know. Yeah, even tomorrow night.
What? Your normal Monday preview?
Yep. Talking Town Extra Time tomorrow, 8:30. Going to be a little bit extra, a little bit nicer, a little bit specialer.
Oh, we'll talk off air. Can I quickly have my crunching tackle? Because everyone's going to have a good laugh at the Canaries.
Oh, go on then. Yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah.
I don't know if you've got it. I did send it to you, but I think it was Thursday. They played Liverpool away, didn't they, in the FA Cup, Norwich?
They did.
Plucky Norwich, you know, the Canaries. They went there, rolled over for the 4th time this season by Liverpool. But Canaries caption it on Twitter, come up with this tweet.
They did.
Sure, NCFC has lost the last 16 of the last 18 games versus Liverpool. But I would point out, we've won the second half at Anfield twice, 1-0, in the past 3 seasons. Not many clubs can claim that. I tell you what, why don't you stick it on your honours board? Well done, lads.
Okay, I can't end the show on the Norwich thing without just saying, see you tomorrow.